Hey YouTube, it's Luke Salzer. Today, I'm going to show you guys how I'm making a treehouse. Okay, but before we get started, I just want to give a little context as to why I'm making it, where I'm making it, all that kind of stuff around it. So, pretty much, I live in this, in the neighborhood, near, a river that comes from the dam, but around it has, a pretty, dense amount of nature around it, I guess. A good amount. So, I go there with, my dog, my friends, or whatever, but I've always wondered, could I, since a young age I've actually wanted to make a treehouse, but going there I'm like, could I make a treehouse here, could I do it there, could I do something with this or that, and then last year around this time I was just like, why not? So I went and scouted out some trees, thinking, okay, why not do something where it's kind of built into the tree, so I wanted a tree that would come out kind of a V shape with two good straight branches. So I looked it out, scouted it out with my dog, and I was able to find a couple that I liked. So I just started to move on with that. So after finding the tree that I was happy with, I started to trim it up with this reciprocating saw. It's a Bauer one that I modded to use for the wall batteries. I'm on that platform, but I ended up not going with it because it was gonna be too high, and I would need too many more tools for me to bring down here to even clean it up. So after that, I found this other tree and I started to trim this one up since it was lower, and it's easy for me to climb inside of it and just be able to work with it a lot better. And I'm very happy I ended up going this route, because if I didn't, this may have been a much more difficult process for me. So after I've cleaned up the tree, I needed to start getting materials. So my bright idea was to get this wood from a trash pile that's around a mile away from where my location is set up, and to just drag it. This was not my best idea, I'll say that much. So at some point I just stopped dragging it, and I just had to carry it the rest of the way. After I delivered the wood, I wanted to see how it looked when placed in the places I want to put it. So it was pretty much just taking the idea from my mind and putting it onto the tree. So after I had a good sense of that, I started putting the brace for the main beam in the center of the tree, go across and then meet up with the other branch that I trimmed earlier. And then it's just a lot of using what I have to make supports with what's naturally built the tree at this point, and then just screwing it in at the different points to make sure it's secure. Oh yeah, safety tip, don't do this. Don't do what I'm doing. It works, especially since that's the only battery saw I had at the time, but it's just not a good option. So just don't do that. But at this point, a lot of it is just redundancy. Now it's time for me to move the plywood for the flooring. Instead of last time of just using the tarp, I carried it by hand, and then also instead of last time of carrying the wood and getting my shoes, my socks, my pants dirty, I tried out a new method of trash bags over my legs to protect myself from the water, since that's the best idea I could think of. But they didn't exactly work. The water was able to get over the top of them. I was able to pull it down and get over top of them. So the next time I went out there, I was able to use duct tape to tape up the tops, so I wasn't able to drag it down and get water in it. I'm not gonna lie, putting the plywood on top of the treehouse was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. But I was able to get the big one up, and after that the little ones went up pretty easily. And all I did here was really just get them up there, secure it, and then I cut it with this little corded jigsaw with a pretty cool setup I had at the time. How I was using this jigsaw with no access to electricity, I thought was pretty cool. So I was using a car battery that I found, along with the DC to AC power converter, along with obviously an extension cord and the corded jigsaw that I got from Harbor Freight for not much, $15 maybe at the time. And it worked pretty well, but the only downside with it is it's too heavy, and for me to take it up and down to the spot, I just didn't really like it. It's just too much. So I needed to find a better option for me to be able to cut wood down there without having to carry 40 pounds in my hands. In a video I made a couple months ago, I modified this Bauer circular saw to use my DeWalt batteries, and the reason is so I could use it out here. As you can see, the first time I used it was to cut up these planks from a pallet for the new flooring that I was going to put in, since the plywood flooring that was in there was kind of rotting, so I had to just take out what was there so this can come in later on. So during the time that I was taking out the flooring, I was kind of thinking to myself, I could make this bigger if I wanted to. And I started thinking about it in my head, how I'd do it, how big I'd want to make it. I didn't want to make it just huge for no reason, require all this new support. Also didn't want to just make it just a tiny little addition. So then I was thinking about it. I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I went back, measured everything I needed. I was able to sketch out my ideas on my notebook for what I have right now with the extension I want to bring in. So then I started to get working on it. After I brought in all the new wood I thought I was gonna need, I started cutting it and just looking at where I wanted to go, how I was really feeling about the design I drew up, and I liked it. It was gonna work out. So then I just started to build it. I used the Bauer modded circ saw that I've used before with this, along with my drill and a new driver that I bought recently, help make this process go smoother. And after I got the main supports up, that's when I started to put more of the studs, I guess, of the floor in. And I know this is where like the new planks we're gonna go down onto, and really what's gonna support it. So I just wanted to make sure I got this really good and really strong compared to how I did the first part of the treehouse. Now I really wanted it to be sturdy, and for there to just be a lot of safety in place. Not safety, but a lot of support for me to know if one thing fails, another will take its place. That's how I've been building my treehouse so far. As you can see, I've done a lot of the framing for the initial treehouse and this new treehouse so far, but I've also, off camera for the next video, I've already started to nail in the new flooring. So the planks that I got from the pallets, I've already started to cover and nail them in. But this process is probably going to take a little bit more time than some of the other parts, because I do have to break down these pallets, transport it, and then nail it in, which does take a little bit extra time too as well. But at the end of the day, it should come out pretty well, and I think it's going to look really good. Part of the reason this video took so long for me to produce compared to some of the others, besides the fact that it's just been a long process for me just taking been working on it bits here and there throughout the year. Also, after Halloween, I lost my hard drive that I kept all my footage on, a lot of my files on. So I just been looking for it, but then college apps kind of came around, so I forgot my CSUs, UCs, and some common apps. Done. I've finally been able to look again for it. I haven't been able to find it, but I have been able to find a lot of footage for not just this project, but a lot of my other projects. So you'll be seeing those be uploaded soon, like the Batman costume, the Spider-Man costume from last year that I thought I lost. I was able to find footage of that as well. A cutting board that I made that I thought I lost the footage of. Robin costume, if I didn't say that already. There's a lot of projects I'll be able to upload in the next couple of weeks I've already done, but I'm finally just going to be able to share it with you guys. So if you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe so you can see those videos and the rest to come. Thank you.